Are you planning to record an album by yourself or with your band, but you are not sure what to look out for? If that's you, then stay tuned. Hi everyone, my name is Valentin, and I'm a guitarist/producer, and today I'm going to walk you through 6 things which you should look out for when recording an album or a single. So, the first thing you should consider is whether you want to release a single first or go for the full album. If you're not sure yet, then don't worry. I'm going to explain you the key differences and what pros and cons come with each option. Let's assume you are starting out as a musician with a smaller audience. If you feel like one of your songs has a hit potential, then releasing a single might be a better option for you. First of all, it takes a lot less time and effort when releasing a full album, and it also gives you time and freedom to work on your other ideas. Plus, if your song does well, it gives you a lot of momentum. On the other hand, if you have already a few ideas written down, but you are not sure if any of them have a hit potential, then releasing an album or an EP is a better idea. Another key aspect is whether you are doing this alone or with a band. If you're planning on creating a new band around this project, then releasing an EP or an album is a better option. First of all, it gives you a proper set list, and it makes it much easier to start playing local gigs and shows. So let's quickly summarize pros and cons of singles and albums. So the pros of the singles. It has higher hit potential, it takes a lot less time and effort, it gives you more room to experiment, and it gives you a lot more chances to improve your mixing, mastering, and production. So the cons of singles are, it's not enough material to play shows or gigs, it can still be expensive to hire other people to master, mix, or produce it. So the pros of an album are, it's great if you're in a band and want to start playing shows. It helps people to understand your sound and connect you to a specific genre. It gives your audience a bigger picture of who you are as an artist. The cons of an album are, it takes a lot more time and energy. It can get expensive quite fast if you want to hire other people to mix, master, or produce it. Now, let's talk about producer versus musician collaboration. Another very important yet overlooked aspect of writing music is collaboration. And this is also very closely connected to the genre you want to write your music in. Let's assume you want to write pop music. Usually you can produce the song yourself, or you can hire somebody who can produce the song for you. In that case, you might not need any studio or session musicians at all. But if you want to write rock, metal, or jazz, or something band-based, then other musicians become a really important part of your sound, because those genres rely on real instruments being played together. This is what gives the song a certain vibe and character. So depending on your genre, you should really consider hiring session or studio musicians for your songs. Or if you're already in a band, you should make sure that each member has the ability to record their instruments properly. So now let's talk about the role a producer plays in your music. Nowadays, the producers are a big part of the sound design and songwriting process. Often, a very well-produced song has many layers to it, like textures, samples, or any extra details. This is what makes the song feel complete. So nowadays, it's not enough to just record a band and their instruments, especially if you want that modern polished sound. Usually, after the main instruments are recorded, the producers add layers, like background synths, effects, or atmospheric textures. This means that producer has a large impact on the final sound of your song, and usually they bring their own flavor to the song. For some people, it might take away the magic of its original idea, because sometimes you want for a song to feel natural and untouched. But in my opinion, hiring a producer can save a lot of time and effort, and in the end, it can even elevate your song. So when you are deciding whether to hire a producer or produce yourself, it comes down to 2 key things: time and money. So my tip is, if you have never produced a song and you can afford hiring a producer, then you should do it. It can save you time and you will probably learn something on the way. But if you want to produce yourself and you are ready to invest a lot of time, then producing yourself is the better option. You will learn your DAW along the way, and afterwards you will be able to teach others about it. Or you might become producer yourself. Let's talk about recording demos. This is another very important yet overlooked aspect, and this goes hand in hand with the previous point, because at some stage you will have to turn your musical idea into something that others can listen to. And this is why demos are so important. On one hand, they are very useful if you want to start a band based on this project. On the other hand, they are very useful if you want to hire a producer, because it acts as a guideline for them. When you are recording a demo, it's very useful for other musicians because it shows them the direction, the vibe, or the kind of sound you are going for this album or song. This can be very useful as certain musicians are more comfortable in certain styles of music more than in others. And this can attract the right musicians to your project. And demos are very useful for producers as they can shape the song closer to what you had in mind. There are different ways to record a demo. One of them is just to record your instruments or your vocal melodies. You can also do both, record your vocal lines and instrument at the same time. Usually, the people are more comfortable either recording the vocal lines by themselves or the instruments by themselves. But if you can do both, go for it, as it is even better. The interesting thing is, if you know your way around your DAW, it's easier to produce or to record your demos. This means that you can record your demos faster and in a better quality. So, if you have the time, try at least learning the basics of your DAW, because even basic recording and production skills go a long way. Now, let's talk about mixing and mastering. Mixing and mastering is a very interesting and creative process of recording and writing an album or a song. Let's assume you have finished writing your song or the whole album, and you want for it to sound polished and modern, like the songs you hear on Spotify, Apple Music or Amazon Music. Then you will have to mix and master it. The key thing about mixing and mastering is that it is subjective. So that means that mixing and mastering largely depends on the genre you are writing for. Every music genre has its own sound, as well as its unwritten rules. So you will have a decision to make. Do you want to mix and master yourself, or do you want to hire somebody to do it? If you have a lot of time and you are already interested in music production, then mixing and mastering can be a great skill to have. It can take your music production to next level. And with AI becoming more involved in mixing and mastering, there are already great tools which can assist you in mixing and mastering. Still, you will have to invest a lot of time because great mixing and mastering takes a lot of experience. But if you're not really into the technical side of music production and you just want to focus on performing and songwriting, then hiring somebody is a better option. Hiring somebody will provide you with that professional sound without investing a lot of time and effort. If you want to find a middle ground between those two options, then mixing yourself and hiring somebody for mastering is another great option. This can save you a lot of money because mixing is more expensive than mastering. Now, let's talk about the last important step, the promotion and the distribution of your song or an album. Let's have a look at two different scenarios. First, let's assume you are an independent musician. In that case, you probably don't have a record deal or a label. Because of that, you will have to approach promotion differently. The key point is this. As an independent artist, social media is one of the strongest tools you have. So you should create a plan of how you want to promote your music on social media. There are plenty of ways to do it nowadays. First of all, you can run ads on social media like Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. You can also post content related to your music or your songwriting so that you can build a community around it. You can also do behind-the-scenes videos or live streams showcasing the songwriting process. And who knows, if your content does well, you might get even attention from a management team or a label. But if that doesn't happen right away, you might still consider finding a digital distributor like DistroKid, TuneCore, or Amuse. You can visit their sites and compare the packages they offer. Now, if you have a label or a record deal, the story is quite different. Now, you won't need to find a digital distributor as the label does the distributing itself. In that case, you might consider whether you want to distribute your music physically, like through CDs or vinyls. So, those are the things you should consider when releasing your own music. The key takeaway is that there is a lot more things to consider than you initially think about. I hope this gave you a clearer picture of what to look out for when releasing your own music. I wish you all the best with your music, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!